Welcome to Catholic Mom Mindset, a daily show where you learn to walk closely with the Holy Spirit so you can live the life God is calling you to. I'm your host, Sterling Jaquith. Let us begin. We don't force ourselves to heal. This is a really important concept. When I'm coaching people, I'm asking them questions and leading them to truth, their truth, what is true for them. And I ask them so many questions that they really can filter out what they believe. And then I'll show them what they believe and say, do you want to keep believing this or not? And it's a beautiful process. It's very empowering and emotional. Not like we're crying all the time, but it's deep work. And one of the things I often tell my clients is when we see an issue come up, or we have a breakthrough and we find a new level of awareness, particularly around something that we wish was better, something about ourselves that we want to improve, we don't have to heal it right away. Awareness is the first step in healing, but we don't have to jump straight to healing. Sometimes we're not ready. Sometimes we have other things going on. I like to think that we have, decades to heal ourselves and to grow and to repair our hearts. And I don't think we fully do that until we're in heaven. And so I was talking to a client and we're kind of digging up some anxiety things. And she was noticing that she is kind of anxious a lot more than she thought. And she said, I would have never described myself that way. I would have never said that I was anxious, but I had asked these questions and kind of shown her that she was feeling the feeling of anxiety pretty often. It wasn't crippling. And I said, your brain thinks being anxious helps you. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, the reason you keep acting anxious is because your brain thinks that helps you. It's the only reason why we do things. And particularly for anxiety, brains trick themselves into thinking that being anxious and worrying is productive, but it never is. Worrying never accomplishes anything. It doesn't make the problem better. You can't worry yourself into being successful, but it has an active feeling to it. So it kind of feels like you're doing something. And so as I was explaining that to her, I said, yeah, and you know what? It's just fine. You don't need to change that right now. And I could see that she had some relief there. Okay, I wasn't going to take her and kind of rub her face in Anxiety Academy and saying, you have to do this deep, painful work right now and change who you've been for decades. We don't force ourselves to heal. We heal when we are ready. And I believe the Holy Spirit really makes it known when we are ready, either by putting us in situations that make it so obvious that it's time to do that work, or, really just planting seeds or putting breadcrumbs in your path over and over and over again, where you're like, okay, I get it. It's time to look into that. But if you trust the Lord to tell you when it's time, then you don't have to worry that you're going to force yourself to do something. We just don't do that. It never works, by the way. You can't force someone to go see a life coach. You can't force someone to go to therapy. You can't force someone. You can force their body to go, but you can't force them to do the work. And I don't think it's our job or our moral imperative to work on our emotional stuff all the time or all at once. I just pray and I ask God to reveal to me where he wants me to work, where he thinks I should go now. And then I give myself over to that work. And I just trust that if he wants me to do the other things, those will come up later and I will have time and space to do that. But there is a little girl inside of you and she doesn't want you to make her do things that are scary. So you want to listen to her. If she's just like, I'm not ready to do that, you just go, okay. You let me know when you are. And you'll know the difference between just plain avoiding something, because that doesn't feel like peace. If God is not asking you to do a healing work right now, and so this like little girl feeling inside of you says, oh, I don't want to do that. And you go, yeah, we're not going to do that right now. You'll feel peace. You'll feel a sense of calm. But when God is calling us to do something, even when it feels kind of scary or intimidating, we have the feeling of conviction, which is like strong peace. We're like peace, but we feel kind of a strength in it because we're getting ready to do something uncomfortable. And so it almost feels like fear, but it's not fear. It's really just like a focused piece or a working piece or a strong piece. And really what it is conviction. God's asked me to do this, so I'm going to. I'm ready. That's how it'll feel. You'll be like, I'm ready. Let's do this. And if you don't feel like that, don't make yourself. And I don't make anyone else either. Right? I see people, because now I just know so much that I can see people. I'm like, oh, there's some work there probably. But I don't tell people that. I don't say, hey, you should deal with that right now. I just pray for them. And I'm like, Lord, bring them the thing that they need when they need it. I just trust him. So we don't force ourselves to heal. You don't force yourself to do it. And you don't force others to do it. It comes at the right time. And you'll know because you'll feel peace or conviction. So I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for listening and have a blessed day. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Catholic Mom Mindset. To learn more about growing closer to the Holy Spirit, check out our free resources at madeforgreatness.co. Thank you so much for listening and have a blessed day.